Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Miguron Celora, a very, very good budget knife. I had originally thought the price was a little bit lower. I think I just was mistaken during the unboxing, but it still turns out that this is well into budget territory, and it's Miguron doing more of what they promised to do, which was keep the HRC ranges super optimized, and in most cases a lot higher than we expect to see, especially at the budget end of the knife world. I actually don't know of any other company in existence hitting these steels as high as they are. It is unbelievable. Now, maximum super high HRC is not always optimal for everybody, but it is very, very impressive considering Maxace delivers a super high quality product without the HRC, and their prices are some of the most competitive on the market. This is a very, very good knife, and this review is going to be largely what you expect it to be, but I'm going to go through and give you guys the highlights here. Thanks so much to Miguron for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. All right, so we'll go ahead and measure it here. Overall length is coming in at about 7.5 inches. Blade length is coming in about 3 1/4. Cutting edge is a little bit over 3 inches. So it's kind of that medium EDC zone. Let's go ahead and have a knife comparison size. Up against my own full-size Excalibur, and I don't have the mini right now because it is off with another reviewer, so we'll do the Demco 80 20.5 here. Any custom skills you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. Up against my PM2 and the Para 3, much closer to the size of the Para 3, and then finally we'll put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca. How is the action on this knife? It is Miguron's button liner lock. It is a liner lock. It's not a top liner lock. It does engage. Sorry, I was trying to get the camera to focus right here. This is the lock face, not that little spot back there that looks like it would be an engagement, face like for a top liner lock. It is not. It is engaging underneath like a normal liner lock. But as Miguron has proven, their button liner locks are very, very strong and very reliable. Strong enough to withstand your typical, like my little spine tap test, right? But very good. You push the button and it falls, and you get to enjoy a detent ball instead of, like a standard plunge lock, which makes for a really not nearly as satisfying detent break. So that's good. So you have the flipper tab, you have a thumb stud, and then you have a front flipper if you really want to utilize it. If you utilize the front flipper, you don't have to worry too much about the rear flipper connecting, but if you use the rear flipper, you cannot push button it because it'll catch you right here. You need to light switch it. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Honestly, the action feels really, really good. It's very easy, sort of second nature to deploy. Wish we had some domed thumb studs, but honestly, just really good. I have no issues with the action whatsoever. Let's go ahead and do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's almost exactly the same, maybe slightly thicker length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Beautifully compact knife, very easy to carry, doesn't take up a ton of room in the pocket. Let's go ahead and weigh it. What are we looking at for material? We're looking at a gradient aluminum, textured gradient aluminum. They also have a like a lacquer aluminum option for $4 more. I thought that it was like a synthetic material. I thought it was like plastic or something. No, it's aluminum, and it has like flakes of other colors in it, the other two options, but it's got like this lacquered finish. So pretty cool. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. The weight on this guy with the steel liners and the aluminum is still only 3.6 ounces, making it about ½ ounce from ultra lightweight. I have no complaints with that. Blade stock thickness, I'm going to guess that's about 115. No, it's thinner, 106. So nice and thin. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. T8 for the pivot, T8 for the body screw, probably T6, yeah, T6 for the pocket clip screw, which can be mounted on either side for left and right hand carry. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. All right, meat and potatoes time. Probably a little bit more aesthetically palatable than the first, this is clearly like an evolution of their budget stuff. I feel, I look at Miguron's new budget releases and I go, okay, they've had an internal discussion on overhauling the aesthetic, the options, the price, the HRC. Miguron is a great example of a company who listens to not just some of, but all, well, they pay attention to all of the criticisms and feedback of the community. Probably don't take all of it and, answer all of it or, alter their products based on everyone's feedback. But the good feedback, the feedback that is actually beneficial to them and their actual buyers, right? They're a great example of a company who does that, and they did it really, really well because there's clearly, I mean, like for people looking for stuff that's off the beaten path, the knife world, it's no secret that it is oversaturated with the same stuff. We've been seeing a lot of the same stuff for years and years and years now. They clearly are making an effort to do different things, not just one or two different things, but a whole bunch of different things, right? And so while the overall profile here is not incredibly unique, offering gradient textured aluminum is definitely not something that we would normally see. On top of that, we have a blade steel 9C27. I guessed correctly that this was Sandvik. It was not a steel that I was familiar with. Z-Knives lists this as kind of, big, emphasis on the kind of there, a predecessor to VG10. And another thing that they say about it is a budget version of VG10. It used to be used in Japanese kitchen knives. It has an interesting higher HRC range of 62 to 64. Now, using this, it did fine. It has not lost its initial bitey edge. As far as edge retention goes, probably similar to VG10. Stainless qualities, it looks to be right on the line. It's like 13.95% chromium and 0.95% carbon, which I believe puts it like right there. But it should take and hold a reasonable edge. Shouldn't be too hard to sharpen up. Toughness should be decent, right? And it should be reasonably stainless. Yeah, believe it or not, Miguron is actually hitting that range. 62 to 64 on their website. They list it as 63 plus or minus 1, meaning 62 to 64. And given that Taylor has been testing their stuff, like actually testing the HRC hardness, the data you can find by checking out the link at the bottom of my description. Yeah, they're hitting those numbers, which is super cool. Now, I don't think that this will hold an edge quite as long as their, 62 to 64 HRC D2, but still pretty cool, pretty impressive. It should be a pretty good performer for this budget territory. On top of that, we have a really nice slicey geometry here. Really like that. Ergonomically, feels pretty good. I mean, the flipper tab does kind of angle downwards into your finger, so they really need to make that curvature follow through. Kind of like how Hinderer Knives does it. I mean, it's not the most comfortable flipper tab. They don't have to make it the same shape out here. But this area needs to follow through so that when you push your thumb or your finger up against this, you don't have the corner of the flipper tab angled down into your finger. Fortunately, you can choke up, and there's two different jimping zones. This one's pretty good. This one, I don't know, it's kind of like it's thin. It's on top of the swedge there. So it's okay. You can use it if you want. Probably be a little more comfortable in gloves. But as far as ergonomics go, very, very good up here in the choked up position. Okay here, it's fine. If you kind of get back away from that little corner of that flipper tab, you're okay. But overall, it's got good ergonomics. The edges here are knocked down nicely, so I don't really have any complaints about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the finisher on the blade. It's just a simple stone wash finish. Looks good. I don't know if I would exactly what grind I would call this. I mean, it's basically a flat, variation of the Hinderer slicer grind. You have a thin blade stock, nice thin edge, nice tip. Honestly, the geometry of this will probably do it more favors than the steel, but I want to emphasize that the steel seems to fit right into budget territory. I don't know that it is better in any category versus any other steel that is typically offered in the budget territory. I don't think that it's like a standout shining star, but it seems to be good enough. And considering that VG10 almost always clears that budget threshold, I mean, not into budget territory, but outside of budget territory. VG10 has sort of outclassed it. It's not outclassed itself. It's not very welcome in the price tier that it naturally falls in. VG10 often falls around the $120 price point, and it's just not, doesn't seem very special there. There's other steels that are offered at that price point that seem to be better. And I've always maintained VG10 feels a lot more like a budget steel. Same with like 154CM. That steel, which is very similar to VG10, should probably, I mean, it's probably still pretty expensive, but eventually it should be just a sub $75 steel. I just think it fits in better with steels like 14C20, 28N, your D2s, your Nitro Vs, your N690 is another weird one. That's another one that like often falls above $75. But this 9C27 seems like it should be a budget steel, and it is, so that's good. It seems to fall right in those parameters of performance that we see with a lot of these other steels in this budget territory. So anyways, nice that they keep all of their logos and billboarding off of the blade. Just that Miguron logo on the pivot looks good. Really, really impressive gradient purple there. I think that's awesome. Black liners, those look good. They went ahead and did the purple standoffs there and the purple pocket clip. I think this is just a steel clip. Yeah, it wants to grab the liners, but not the clip. I mean, it could be non-magnetic. Non-magnetic. I still didn't say it right. Non-magnetic. All right, back to the review. It is purple. That makes me think it's titanium. So that's pretty wild if that's actually the case there. I really thought that this was like somehow they had managed to like heat anodize it like it was steel, and they did it like it was like heat anodized purple, because I know you can get blue and kind of indigo that way. So I thought for sure this might actually just be a stamped titanium pocket clip. Not like, oh my god, wow, like, it's not the same thing as like a milled titanium clip, but it's pretty cool if that is. A lot more forgiving than steel, especially, being that thin. Liner lock. So, and by the way, no, you cannot access the liner lock from the front. Would have been nice if they'd added that in there, but they didn't. It's okay. No big deal. But anyways, liner lock. Stop pin is located in a, is it attached? Yeah, it's attached to the blade there. So you can see it kind of wrapping around. Closed position and open position stops are internal. That means no, connection here behind the plunge grind, which I'll let you guys take a look at there. It widens up a little bit, not bad. No blade play up, down, left, or right. It does run on bearings. You probably knew that. No lock stick whatsoever. No pivot lash. Super smooth. No bumps, lumps, grittiness, nothing. It's super smooth. Click into the closed position and perfect centering with no detent lash. Originally, I thought this was one of their like $40 knives, and now I can understand why. Like, it's not. This is a $59 knife. I don't know a ton about the steel and how much cost it actually adds, but I'll tell you the rest of this knife is ridiculously impressive, and warrants like the gradient, textured aluminum, the titanium clip, the 62 to 64 HRC hardness on this. I mean, that it does add cost, right? Not a ton, but it does add cost to get it up there. So yeah, $59 I think is the base price for the one that you're looking at right here. $59. Is it worth it? Oh my god, absolutely. This is amazing. What an amazing pocket knife. I wish that the flipper tab was, it followed the curvature of the primary index finger position, but oh well. It's such a little tiny thing, I think that they should make a version of this that is flipperless. I think that'd be just perfect. Just remove the flipper tab because you already have thumb studs and the little front flipper. More importantly, this is an example of the direction that Miguron is heading. This is not, a knife to withstand, ages and ages and ages of, top tier. Like, this is the #1 most recommend. This is a really good knife, but we can see now the rate. Like, Miguron has figured out that people really like this combination of stuff. The HRC thing is a huge part of it. But they have figured out that they can do this for between $30 and $60, and they can also provide materials and finishes and all of this stuff, and they can do things that their competitors are not doing. And so they're going to machine gun blast us with this stuff, and I am all for it. Please Somebody needed to take the reins and do this. We've all known that a lot of these companies have the capability of really bringing us the effort and not bringing along a stupid price tag with it. And Miguron finally stepped up and said, all right, we'll do it. And guess what? They've sold, from what I understand, the Karok, the first of their new, like super crazy awesome budget knives. They sold like a bajillion of them. No surprise. Any company wanting to succeed in today's market, especially in the budget territory, you should look at what Miguron is doing. I've wanted some company to set this standard for so long, and Miguron is doing it, and this is now, who I'll point to. Anytime I'm reviewing budget knives, I'll say, well, Miguron's doing this for $20 less or $30 less. And $20 to $30 isn't a lot of money in and of itself. But when you're talking about a 50% reduction of cost versus their competitors, and that is literally the case here. They're $30 to $60 knives in some cases. This other companies are making the exact same thing for double the price, and it's still a Chinese company, right? They don't have a magic lamp and they're like, oh, we wish that we could make it less expensive. No, they're just doing it. This is incredible. It's highly recommendable. They have 3 or 4 from this new budget line, and I'm going to guess there's a tidal wave of stuff coming. So if this isn't for you, I'd say just wait, because Miguron clearly has a lot of stuff up their sleeves, and I have a feeling that they're going to be slapping us with the giggle gloves. What am I saying? I have a feeling they're going to be bringing the heat for a while. So this is a stupidly recommendable knife. It's awesome. I love it. Highly reliable. Cool steel. Seems like it fits in, and a great HRC range. Very, very cool. I'll put it in my recommended knives playlist as well as my cheap knives I like playlist. That's going to be it today, guys. Please help me find my card. There it is. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. If you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.